This is branding under pressure, where brand behavior shows up long before strategy gets a chance to show off. I'm the ghetto country grandmother, but y'all know you can call me Brandma. And if you're tired of the performative bullshit that they call leadership, and you want something that can be embodied, you're in the right fucking house, okay? Now, go ahead and pull up a chair, but understand, this is not motivational, this is observational. That's how we get down in here. And know this, pressure does not break brains, it exposes them. So come on, brand baby, let's do this thing. Founders think their brand problems is strategy, messaging, positioning, consistency, all of that. They think if they get the words right, framework right, the visuals right, that everything's gonna be fucking all right, and it will not. Because let me tell you something you already know and you keep trying to dismiss. When things are running smooth, when shit seems like, you know what, water off a duck's back, everything makes sense. Their values make sense. They sound good. They sound principled. They sound, oh, I can get behind this. But it's the pressure that complicates shit. Okay? Being under pressure, values disappear. They get negotiated and renegotiated and negotiated again. It's a polite pattern. It's a quiet pattern. And it comes with really good excuses. And behavior? Yes, behavior. It doesn't wait for clarity. It doesn't wait for confidence. Behavior speaks before your intention even clears his motherfucking throat. You don't rise to your best ideas when things are good, when things are tight. You default to what kept you safe in the first fucking place. You do it before you ever had a brand, before you ever had a title, before you ever had an audience. It's what kept you safe. That's why the truth shows up sideways. It shows up in your tone. It shows up in delayed decisions. It shows up in weak-ass boundaries you swear were temporary. But pressure doesn't ask what you believe. It doesn't care what the fuck about your mission statement. It asks, what are you willing to abandon when control feels threatened? And the answer is never theoretical. It's never philosophical. It shows up in real time, and it shows up in your behavior every single time. Sit with that for a sec, because we're going to shift, okay? Let me take you somewhere real. There was a moment, more than one if we're completely honest, where my values look good on paper. They look real good. They were clear, they were articulate. I could defend the fuck out of them. The kind of values that sound solid in a bio, they sound good on a brand deck, and they sound fucking amazing in an interview. I could explain them. I could defend them. I could even fucking teach them. But under pressure is where shit gets real. Proximity pressure, money pressure, relationship pressure. Those values didn't disappear. They just got shaky. I chose politeness over clarity on occasion. I chose loyalty over leadership. I chose optics over truth. Because you know a brand gotta look good. What the fuck? Hey, it's not because I didn't know better. It was because I knew exactly what would happen if I didn't. The consequences. Clarity would disappoint somebody. Leadership would make things tense. Truth would cost people their comfort. And instead of naming all that fucking fear, I wrapped it up in a better story. This isn't the right time. I don't want to make it awkward for them. Let me be strategic. Lord, have I learned strategy since then? But all of that, there's lies under pressure, and it sounds better. It tells you what's best. It doesn't sound reckless. It doesn't sound responsible. But that wasn't strategy. That was fear wearing nice ass clothes. Pressure is a fucking liar. Think about that. And the factor for most founders refuse to look at, there are the values you claim as identity, the ones you're proud of, the ones you say define you, and then there are the values you perform for safety, the ones that only show up when the room feels calm, when shit is running smooth. Pressure exposes the difference faster than success ever will, because success lets you rehearse. Pressure, that shit makes you improvise. Ooh, that's some hotness right there. But watch what happens when you soften your language to say like, when you delay decisions to avoid authority friction. Can you say the word? You call restraint strategy when it's really fucking fear. Oh, we're so scary and we won't admit it. That's not a branding issue, sweetie. It's not a messaging issue. That's behavior leaking out the side. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Ooh, chills. Yeah, okay. So there was another season of my life where my integrity looked intact. At least I thought it looked intact. I thought I was doing good. It was clean. It was professional. And I hate the word professional. It was impressive even. I still get called by Mrs. Mister, but that's a whole nother thing. On the outside, everything was cool. It was copacetic. But the language was right too. The decisions were defensible because I did it for the brand. I did it for the company. I did it for my fucking husband. The posture, that's because the posture. But the posture, read as composed. It was measured. It was even fucking respectable because, again, Mrs. Mister was respected. But if you looked at it from a distance, you say, she's handling it all. She's doing that shit. She's holding her man down. It was all the things. But internally, I was resentful as fuck. Not explosive resentful. Not quiet resentful. No, maybe it was quiet. Yeah. Okay. So it wasn't explosive. It was quiet. Yeah. Anyway, I don't feel like it was quiet because I had my momentary outburst, but I don't think it had anything to do with that. I don't think it had to do with my resentment. It was just caught up in the moment, it being under pressure. But the kind of things that show up, they all showed up as fatigue. I was tired and I was irritated as fuck. And as that tight feeling you get in your chest when you agree to shit you already know you shouldn't, oh God, you should wash your hands of it. I was doing the right thing publicly while betraying myself privately. That's performative integrity. That's some fuckery right there. But it looks like maturity, and I thought I was growing as an entrepreneur. It sounds like professionalism because I know all the things. I won't say all, but I know a lot about the profession that I was in when I was a restaurant owner. I try to be because I was in a partnership with my husband, but it was the praise. And I guess it was my praise, but it was praise that's restraint for me because I was Mrs. Mister, even though I never told anybody to call me Mrs. Mister. And what that really was, self-abandonment, delivered clearly. It was a clean break from Phyllis as who she was. And performative integrity photographs well, even though I hate taking pictures. There are times where y'all catch me in the background because I had to be on. And it plays nice if you're a corporate type, it looks good in boardrooms. And you know what that looks like. Y'all don't let me go down the code switching rabbit hole. That's a whole nother thing. But the biggest thing, it helps to keep the peace. Okay? The thing that I used to say all the time when I was in business with my husband, I'm just trying to stay married today. That was keeping the peace. But it can all collapse fast because you can't keep violating yourself without consequence. And my consequences versus your consequences, only you know those. But lived integrity doesn't make a whole lot of noise. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't require explaining your intentions or narrating your fucking values. It's just what it is. It doesn't need a fucking manifesto, even though I love writing manifesto. You know what? I keep going off. Stay on. Y'all, I'm coming back. But lived integrity, how does that show up? It shows up as consistency under pressure because that's what this is about, branding under pressure. And it's not just personal brand. We're also talking about business brand. And it's not when it's convenient and it's not when it's rewarded. But when enforcing it, it costs you approval. When it disrupts comfort, when it makes the room go quiet. It's all the things. And here's the cultural trap that makes you see all of this. We live in a world that rewards moral posture. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Outrage gets attention. Certainty gets applause. The loudest fucking voice in the room gets mistaken for the strongest one. And y'all know that's some bullshit. The most emotional stance gets mistaken for conviction. All because I can cry on cue. That shows my conviction. And y'all talking to a fucking empath. And I know I can cry at some shit. But that's not the thing. Outrage is not leadership. It's emotional discharge with an audience. And oh, y'all know I hate a good trauma dump. Why do I feel like everything I say needs this? Y'all, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get back into this podcasting thing. So y'all work with me. Work with me. But there's a thing. There's a certainty. What is it? Certainty without regulation? I think that's a thing. Certain about something and not regulated. That sounds right, doesn't it? Because that's not, what am I trying to say? Yeah, what am I trying to say? It's fake control. It's fake confidence. It's how we want to appear that we have this confidence. And y'all know I own my insecurities. I may walk into a room and y'all may think I'm confident as fuck. But the internal anxiety, sweetie, I'm just I'm wearing the control and the confidence more than I'm embodying it. Okay. And that's not as much as prevalent as it used to be, but I still recognize it when it comes into the room with me. Because again, when you walk into an unfamiliar space, you're walking in under pressure, and that's a thing. All right. Integrity isn't what you say when folks are looking at you. It's really not. It's what you enforce when it would be easier not to. And that's what we've lost, especially as founders following corporate examples. When staying silent will keep you liked, again, what does that look like? Why are you really trying to be liked by folks that you don't even want to be in the room with? When compliance will keep you or keep things running smoothly. I had a corporate job and I know what that looks like. My old boss used to call it do or day. Dress up and act right. That's what we did. But integrity is what you're willing to lose in order to remain aligned with what you said the fuck you said. Quoting that shit does not make it so. I said what I said. Is willing to lose in order to maintain it. And under pressure, that's always what gets tested first. You hear me? So let's talk about it through an authoritative lens, okay? There's a moment when mine got tested, not by strangers, not by proximity. And that's always, you know what, where it gets messy. We always think it's this thing, it's family, it's clients, people who knew me before I had the title, before I had the role, before I had the fucking responsibility. Folks who still saw the old version of me and expected me to keep showing up on cue. And like I say, Brandma has evolved over the years. Mrs. Mister evolved into, you know what, she's no longer here. But people still want to embrace that. It is a thing. I know what I need to say when I'm Phyllis the mom, Phyllis the wife, Phyllis the friend. I feel it in my heart. And there's this thing that when certain things get under pressure, our chest gets tight. And I said, you'll say the thing that you don't necessarily feel, but it'll make everybody else feel okay. Yeah, sometimes that's just being a mom, but you ain't everybody's fucking mom, so take that with you. And but there's certain things that come into the room and work their way up to your lips that never come out. But I didn't say it. Not because I was unsure, not because I needed more information. I was clear as fuck the whole damn time. But what I said instead was, you know what? Let me be a little nicer when I say this. Let me be, and Lord knows, no, I wasn't diplomatic because I'm never that. But I have made myself palatable. It took a long time to own the fact that my first language is bad English and my second is profanity. I had to learn that for me. Language designed to preserve comfort of others instead of my own level of authority. Cussing doesn't make me authoritative. It's just the fucking words that I choose to use because it's expressive for me. And here's the part most founders don't want to admit either. Nothing blew up. Nobody stormed out the room. Nobody lost their shit. There was no dramatic fallout, even though y'all stop with the sideways thinking. But this is exactly why it's dangerous. Do you hear me? Authority didn't collapse. It leaked. And we always think that, you know what? When did that happen? It was slow. It was polite. It was in ways you can't rationalize. Or you can. Let me take that back. You can. Because we always say, make it make sense. And sometimes that's rationalizing the bullshit. To explain it a little more, and y'all know I hate explaining shit, but a little more accommodating. There's a little less clarity each time the moment came and you just decided, you know what? I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to fold under pressure. But then again, let's take it back to the top where we start negotiating shit. We start making sure that, you know what? Let me make sure they're okay first. That's why founder first branding is so fucking important to me. Why don't you come first? Who told you the customer had to come first? Who told you the customer was always right? It was the folks who were concerned with the bottom line who don't have to do the day-to-day. They are not hands-on with their business. They don't do they're fucking employees. A CEO ain't nothing but a motherfucking employee. That's what he is. He gets paid to do that shit. But you're hands-on in your business and you're working under pressure that they do not understand. And so, again, you negotiate. That's how authority gets eroded. It's not in the conflict, it's in the concessions that we make to make sure that everybody else is okay. Our employees, our partners, our collaborators. It's all of them. And under threat, most founders default to the one of three behaviors. And I'm saying this, like I say, this is lived experience, but this is also in talking to my clients. But it's that stress, that tension we get. We call it imposter syndrome. What's the other one? I'm sorry if I'm moving away from my mic. What's the other one they call it? Introversion. Yeah, introverts. But we get this tension. And it's control, it's rigidity, it's micromanagement, is gripping down on stuff because losing control feels like you're losing yourself. And so we mistake it for dominance, mistaking dominance for leadership. Because we feel like we have to dominate because that's what we've been told. You know what? I make the right. Yeah, that's an old one. What is it? I pay the cost to be the boss. I still say that shit right there, but still, that is you trying to maintain control. And then there's avoidance. You stay silent. You delay on shit. You overprocess or you overthink. You're waiting for the moment to pass instead of meeting it. Chest to chest. You call withdrawal discernment, and that's not what it is. And let's get to the moral side, because, all y'all Christians, and mind you, I was raised in the church, but y'all with this Christian bullshit, come on, that moral posturing, maybe it's not a Christian thing, and I just felt like going there, but it's over-explaining values instead of enforcing boundaries. How about that? Using ethics, empathy, or professionalism as a shield against, you know what, make a motherfucking decision. Why? What's wrong? All three of these. Tension, avoidance, moral posturing. But they do the same fucking thing. They move authority out of the body and into performance. Oh, what's it? Romeo, wherefore? Y'all know I'm tripping. No, that's how ridiculous it is. Authority doesn't leak loudly. It doesn't seep out of you loudly. It doesn't creep out. You slowly give it away. And there is no announcement. You just start to realize when it's gone and you don't know how to get it back. Okay? It leaks out politely. Professionalism, anyone? And by the time you actually fucking notice, the room is already adjusted and not in your favor. Under pressure. All right, brand babies, I'm trying to get you to look through a lens without getting all preachy on you, okay? So bear with me. Because this is the part that most folks want to rush, is because once you name a behavior, you can't stop pretending like that shit is random. I love to use archetypes. So archetypes don't fail. They don't break. They don't suddenly become the wrong fucking fit. Distortions get activated. That's what it is. And they don't activate because you're fucking weak. They activate because pressure removes the buffer. It removes those padded walls and all that kind of crazy. Looking back, I can name and I can look at which archetype was driving me in my moment. Not in theory, in practice, in real life. Because while living life can be all 12 in your brand and your business is not the thing, especially when you're under pressure. Okay? And more importantly, I can name which distortions showed up before I had language for it, before I could intellectualize it. I've been waiting to use that word. But it was before I can fucking justify shit, okay? And it's that what is it? That's what that was kind of moment. That's awareness. It's not self-judgment, not self-correction. Ugh, I hate correcting myself. But awareness is the moment you stop making the behavior mean something about your worth and start understanding what role just took the wheel. Okay? Pressure doesn't ask you who you want to be. It hands the mic to whoever has been rehearsing the most, okay? That's how you know which archetype is driving, okay? That's how you know which one is in the room. And you don't want all of them crazies in the room. People keep laughing because I say I don't have personality, I have bitches. But when it comes to how I make my money, I got an archetype mix. And that's where I stick. And that's where I stay in my lane. Like the ruler archetype, it tightens instead of regulating. I couldn't get the word out. But it's not because they want control, but because losing it feels like they're collapsing. The caregiver, which is one of my sides, okay, that's one of the ones that makes my money. The caregiver overfunctions instead of leading sometimes. Not because they're incapable of authority, because they are, because y'all know a bossy-ass mom is a bossy-ass mom. That chick be running some shit. But it's because being needed once kept them safe. The rebel, that's my other side. Oh, shit, I'm tapping on me. Okay, stop stepping on my own toes. The rebel performs defiance instead of direction. And it's not because they hate structure, but because structure once felt like erasure. You felt like you were fucking disappearing, and that's not what you want. This isn't a diagnosis. This is not, what's the word? Y'all know, I'm reaching for a $5 word I'm trying to think of. What is it? It's not pathology. It's just pattern recognition. And I'm telling you, this is some behavioral shit. And the recognition is where authority starts to return. Because once you know who's driving, you can decide whether to let them keep the wheel. Y'all always say, Jesus, take the wheel. But when all the other crazies are trying to grab hold, y'all know what? You gotta go make your money. This is not how you live your life. And y'all know that. Here's the quiet truth most folks don't want to hear, okay? And I learned it the hard way. Like I said, a lot of the shit I tell you guys is from lived experience. And for a long time, every time something felt off, I went straight to perception. How did it look? How did it hit? How might it be misunderstood? Did I say that right? We're going to act like I did if I didn't, but y'all know what I mean. Because you adjust your language. And by that, like I say, I'm used to code switching from back in the day. But you got to tweak your tone. You got to reposition a narrative and how you tell a fucking story. People hate when I say that branding is a pimp game. It offends their sensibilities. But that's because they want me to reposition a narrative. And every time, it worked just enough to delay the real work. Okay, everything changed when I stopped trying to repair perception and started regulating my posture. When I start owning the ghetto country of it all. Not the optics, the posture. You know what? Being raised hood adjacent by a country mama is not a bad thing. But I let people make me think it is. Or thought it was. Y'all know what I mean. But posture is what you do when no one is clapping, okay? It's standing up tall. That's your posture. Posture is how you decide before you fucking explain. Posture is the part of you that knows the lines exist whether you draw them or not. Authority didn't come back because I explained better. I didn't return because I found the perfect fucking words. It came back because I decided differently. I had to give a few extra F's. But I enforced sooner. I clarified faster. I stopped giving comfort veto power over clarity. And there's a thing that for me, when identity collapses, when that shit shows up. Okay, does that make sense? Identity collapse happens when behavior contradicts self-image. When you think you are, who you think you are, can't survive how you're actually operating. Who you think you are can't survive how. Yeah, I think I said that right. Because, we be doing some shit so out of pocket, it's crazy. The dissonance or the disconnect, it seems almost just unnatural. So most founders, they reach for the fastest relief. And like I said, especially when you're operating under pressure, when you're branding under pressure. They rebrand, they refresh, they rewrite the fucking story. Not because the brand needs it, but because recalibrating behavior will require, you know what? I gotta grieve the old loss. You know how long it took me to get rid of my old name, CKO Creator? How I tried to make Brandma fit under that name? That shit didn't work. I made that for kids that I was doing homeschooling programs for while they were going to or deciding to become entrepreneurs. It was a boot camp created for kids, and that was the name, Chief Kid Officer. When I tried to make Brandma fit under CKO Creator, changing it to character, kinship, and originality, because branding is about those things, that shit is just like, yeah, no, you need to get the fuck out of here. It didn't work. And so, like I said, you grieve those old things. It's identity cleaning. Authority isn't reclaimed through branding tweaks, and it doesn't come back through messaging cleanups or visual upgrades. And no, I love the visual upgrade because I can't do shit. Y'all know I don't do pretty shit. But authority, the authority of it all is reclaimed through behavior. It really is. Through repetition. Through choosing alignment even when it costs you familiarity. Y'all know how hard it is for me to say familiarity. See, now I can say. So let's keep going. So, you don't need a new message, I promise you, sweetheart. You don't need a clear explanation. What you need is to stop negotiating your roles within your business and your brand. Because the moment you do, pressure stops running the room and authority finally comes home. You are never constricted by the pressure of it all because you have taken authority of what it is that you want to do and you own that shit. All right, brand babies, I'm going to slow this down. And I'm not slowing it down because I don't think you'll understand the question, but it's because your nervous system will try to answer some shit before you can actually get it out your mouth. The thing I want you to do is I want you to name the value you protect publicly, but abandon privately under pressure. Okay? Not the one you wish you lived by, not the one you post about, not even the one folks would associate with your name. Get me? Now watch what happens when pressure shows up. Where does the value disappear? Is it in the pricing? Is it in the tone? Is it in the boundaries you weaken instead of enforce? Who benefits from all this shit when it does? We always want to blame something other than our own behavior. Sometimes it's your need to be liked. Sometimes it's your need to stay safe. The whole fight or flight thing, yeah, it's not crazy talk. But sometimes it's just your need to stay familiar when folks who know you really well, before you had authority in the room, yeah, that shit. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Folks that feel like family and all the other stuff that comes along with it, all the baggage. And when that value disappears though, what behavior takes its place? And we're talking things like over-explaining. We're talking about things like avoiding, tightening control, micromanagement, yeah. Moral positioning. And morals is so fucked up these days. I don't even know who has them anymore. But don't fix it and don't justify it. Don't turn it into a fucking plan. This isn't about correction. It's about recognition. Like I said, I'm not here to fix your shit. I'm not here to fix your face. But I just want you to notice it. Because awareness is the first place authority stops leaking. And I'm sorry I don't have another word for it, but y'all should be seeping out and we just be going along with the okie doke, and it's not okay. All right? And I want you to know that this particular episode, because like I said, I love me some good archetypes. Y'all know it. And this kind of opens that up to my book that just came out, Archetypes and Attitude. And all this season, that's what I'm going with. We're going to keep mapping pressure to behavior when it relates to authority, because there is attitude in archetypes. We've just been conditioned to look at them through the lens of personas and bigger brands. The ones that always come to mind, excuse me, I got something in my throat, but the one that always comes to mind, because I do identify with the rebel archetype, but the only thing they got to show for it, everybody always wants to trot out Harley Davidson. Fuck Harley Davidson, not in a mean way, but that's just not the thing. So this season, we are going to unpack that. And like I said, if you get a copy of Archetypes and Attitude and you ever want to have a discussion about it, y'all throw me a question somewhere. Okay? But this season, it's not about fixing your brand. It's about noticing who shows up when the brand is stressed the fuck out. Okay? So that's it, my brand babies. This is Brandma coming back to you. So I want you to sit with that pressure, okay? And we're going to go ahead and get on up out of here. So y'all remember what the countdown was? If you don't, here it go. 5, Bullshit happens, so suck it up. 4, your voice is important, so speak up. 3, you make the world a more beautiful place, so show up. 2, life is good, so buck up. And 1, I love you and ain't a damn thing you can do about it, so shut the fuck up. Peace and hair grease, y'all. I'm out.